Watch an ultramarathoner collapse at the finish line. Then, picture someone with severe chronic fatigue struggling just to get out of bed. While their lifestyles couldn't be more different, clinical data looking at the biomarkers of cellular strain in both groups shows a surprising common thread. When researchers look past the physical symptoms, they find the same specific markers of damage deep inside the tissue. At the center of this strain are your mitochondria. These organelles operate like microscopic power plants, pulling in oxygen and food and converting them into adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, the raw energy currency of the human body. Pushing your body hard actually forces these engines to become more efficient, increasing your ATP capacity. But there is a strict biological breaking point. When the mitochondria are overworked by intense physical or environmental stress, they start producing toxic exhaust. Biologists call these reactive oxygen species, or ROS. If this oxidative exhaust isn't immediately neutralized, it physically attacks and degrades the mitochondrial DNA. The engine essentially rusts from the inside out, causing energy production to sputter and fail. So how do elite performers survive this constant physical stress without total system failure? And how can someone with chronic fatigue repair their own failing energy factories? Recovery isn't just a matter of resting longer. It requires a targeted bioenergetic intervention known as the Mito Food Plan. The Mito Food Plan is a clinical strategy designed specifically to optimize cellular function and clear out oxidative damage. Step 1 is cutting off the supply of corrosive fuel. Refined sugars and simple carbohydrates create massive insulin spikes, which inhibit the body's ability to burn fats for fuel and drive systemic inflammation. Once the sugar is removed, the strategy shifts to flooding the system with high-quality anti-inflammatory fats like omega-3s. These fats serve a structural purpose. Your body uses incoming lipid molecules to physically patch degraded mitochondrial walls. For advanced recovery, clinicians use ketogenic ratios or intermittent fasting. These trigger autophagy, a deep self-cleaning mode where the cell recycles damaged components. Repairing a biological engine requires stopping the intake of inflammatory fuel and providing the cell with entirely new physical building blocks. Even with a repaired engine, you still have to clear out the accumulated ROS exhaust. That is the function of the phytonutrient spectrum. In the wild, plants naturally produce chemical compounds, called phytonutrients, to survive harsh environmental stressors like pests and ultraviolet radiation. When we consume these compounds, our cells detect these secondary metabolites and trigger our own internal signaling pathways. This instructs the cell to ramp up its own antioxidant production and repair functions. For anyone bouncing back from extreme physical exhaustion, one group of foods is particularly vital: the deep blue, purple, and black categories. Dark foods like blackberries and purple cabbage contain pigments called anthocyanins and resveratrol. These specific compounds are clinically associated with decreased muscle soreness and faster recovery after exercise. These pigments act by chemically binding to the chaotic reactive oxygen species inside the cell, neutralizing the oxidative damage before it can hit the mitochondrial DNA. By clearing the cellular environment, the mitochondria can safely ramp ATP production back up to a stable, high-output state. This colorful dietary variety provides the specific biochemical tools needed to neutralize cellular stress and accelerate tissue repair. At the microscopic level, food acts as biological information, dictating how your cells respond to stress. Whether you are a world-class competitor fighting overtraining or someone battling a thick fog of daily fatigue, the rules governing your cellular biology are identical. Maintaining consistent energy requires protecting these internal power plants. That starts with cutting refined sugar, prioritizing structural fats, and consuming the full color spectrum every day. Sustainable performance, on a track or in daily life, isn't achieved by just pushing harder. It is achieved by mastering the science of cellular recovery.